I gave a presentation with my teammates in front of a NASA panel, and that was cool, but I would be lying if I said that that presentation was rad. It was okay.
Salam everyone and welcome to Muslimas in Motion Professional Pursuits. I'm Hawa, your host, and here we celebrate the achievements of young Muslim women while exploring strategies to balance the life you dream of with the life you're living today. Join me as we dive deep into the journey of Mariyaah Muttalib, a trailblazing computer science student and web developer whose innovative projects, like a natural disaster app, showcase the power of tech in creating meaningful change. From NASA to ideathons, her story is one of resilience, creativity, and impact. Thank you again so much for joining me today. So how are you?
I'm doing well. Nothing too crazy, just living life.
Love that. Love that. Love living life. All right. So I always like to start off asking my guests a signature question. And that question is, you're in a deserted island and you're only allowed to take 3 things. What are those 3 things that you're bringing with you?
Maybe like a satellite phone just in case,
Mm-hmm.
I would need help. I want to say my laptop and oh frick, but what's the point of taking a laptop if you don't well then I
Have a
guess
charger.
yeah. Oh my god. Frick. Wow, that's a lot. Um Probably a satellite phone,
Mm-hmm.
something for the Wi-Fi,
Mm-hmm.
and could the laptop and charger be one thing or
If you can find like a solar powered laptop, I feel like that had to have been a thing at some point. I feel like if we look it up, it's probably here. Actually, I'm going to Google that real quick. Laptops with chargers in them. Internal chargers? Well, yeah. I feel like that would have been like very revolutionary. If you can like engineer one, I guess, sure. I guess we can, I don't know, make it work. I really thought there was going to be like one niche result. Laptops with USB, blah. Oh, whatever. Anyways, I'm sure somewhere someone has created a laptop that has like a charger in them. But hey, if anybody needs like a startup
oh
idea,
frick, and you would need a battery to charge the man,
exactly.
it's like
So
4
it sounds like
things.
a lot. Yeah.
Dang. Okay, so I'll just
Mhm,
say a satellite phone,
mhm.
probably a book. Well, I can't say a book because it'd get really boring. I don't know, man. Something to drink clean water, I guess. I know that they have
Yeah.
those where you can
Yeah, like the filter straws.
yeah, that and probably a knife or something for hunting because I would obviously need to eat. So,
Yeah.
yeah, those are my 3 things. That'd be a really boring life, though. Sounds really boring.
Yeah, I think after a while it's just kind of like, okay, guys, let's get back to, reality. But I like your answers. I think a lot of people don't think about the water filter thing. I think I've had like a couple, maybe like one other person say like, oh, like a reverse osmosis tank. But
What? What is that?
that's like so basically it's like a system where actually let me look it up before I just have the wrong answer. But from what my understanding is, it's just like a filtered water system. It says a water purification system that uses a semi-permeable membrane to remove contaminants from water. So it's just a really fancy filter. It
Okay.
takes out like chlorine, salt, dirt. So just filtered water, pretty much.
Okay.
You got the gist. So I like that. But yeah, thanks. I really enjoyed your answers. So
Well, thank you.
no worries. So at first I want to start with, who are you and what do you do currently?
So, I'm Mariyaah Muttalib. I am a computer science major at Kennesaw State University. I guess, I don't know, take computer science courses. Unlike a lot of people, I actually liked my data structures class. I was terrified of it before I took it, but then while taking it, I think because I was exceedingly terrified about it, I actually ended up doing well and actually slightly enjoying it. So that was rad. What else? Who is Mariah? I don't know, Mariah's a Muslim chick out here who enjoys martial arts and has two cats that she takes care of. And yeah, and Mariah's a family oriented person that I don't know, likes being creative also in her free time.
I love
Yeah.
that. That is really awesome. And I'm very happy and blessed to meet another fellow pet parent. I,
Really?
cur- yeah, I currently have one cat. His name is
Oh.
Prince, and
Aw.
he's very spoiled. Right now, he's taking a nap. Usually, he would be trying to scamper on my lap while I'm trying to do interviews because for some reason he thinks whenever I'm actually talking to people at desk, he thinks that's the most optimal time to want attention,
Yeah, same.
as cats do. I definitely would consider getting another cat. I always like watch cats sit my friends like cats and stuff. So I don't know. I really love cats. I kind of want another one. So how is it like having like two of them? Did you get them both at the same time or did you have
Yeah.
like one and got the other?
Yeah, I got them both at the same time. So
Mm.
it's actually kind of a really funny story. So like I did not want cats, but like when I used to go to like this I believe it's called Pet Supermarket, and like
Mhm.
on Saturdays like at a certain time they would have all of these cats that like would be fostered by these people, just like regular, not like I guess like where they keep cats in cages and stuff. I don't know what you call those places. I
Oh,
literally
this shelter?
yeah, animal shelter, yeah. Not like that, it was just, like, they kept, like, a whole lot of cats in their houses at the same time, and then let people adopt them if they, like, found someone who wanted to adopt them. So, like,
Mm.
they would bring them, like, every Saturday to, like, the pet supermarket, and I would just, like, pet the cats and, like, play with them and stuff, and there were these 2 cats, well, they were kittens in the same cage, and they're, like one was, like, almost completely black, and the other one was orange and white. And it was weird to me because I was like, why are the two kittens in the same cage? I don't usually see that, but like, and they
Right.
were so comfortable. The lady that was fostering them told me like they're best friends, and they actually are. And so I
Mm.
just couldn't help but think like I don't want these two cats to get separated from each other because I know like a lot of people don't a lot of people don't want to adopt two cats at the same time. So I was like, you know what? I'll just adopt them. And yeah, I eventually adopted them. The foster parent, she gave me like a really good discount because she like liked me. And yeah, I eventually adopted them and I named one Khola and the other Alsahan. And yeah, and they hang out with me now. It's really funny how they have like their own personalities and everything. But
Exactly.
yeah. Are you actually crying?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, like, when you said I just didn't wanna separate them, like, I was getting misty eyed. I was like, "Dude," like, I'm like, "Oh my god," like, "Wait, I love animals, man." So, like, the fact that you
Seriously.
said that, like, I don't know why, it just hit something in me. I'm sorry. I
No,
wasn't expecting
seriously.
this reaction. I was like, "Oh my god, like, this is actually such a beautiful story." Oh, that just really makes me wanna get him another friend. He's such a spoiled, like, only child. But the thing is there's one, like so one of my coworkers, they have a cat and their cat's name is Billy, and, Billy in Urdu is like cat, which is very funny. And Prince and Billy get along, like, so well, and they're always, like, best friends. And obviously I can't take Billy away from his family, but
Yeah.
it just makes me think like, you know, Prince is such a kind, like he's so sweet because some cats are very like territorial. Whenever we've had a visitor cat, even if the cat was not really ready to be friends with Prince yet, he would always like do a little chirping at them, never hissing, never growling. It was always like chirping, like, "Hey, how's it going?" And like letting them eat first and all these things. And
Aw.
I'm like, he's just such a kind little fellow. He deserves a friend. So yeah, thank you for that story. I I'm
No
convinced.
problem. I love that his name is Prince. It's so adorable.
Thank you. I wish I could take the credit, but I'm just being so honest. I suffer from like very huge decision fatigue. So like the shelter actually named him that. And me and
Uh,
my family were like deliberating. We were like, what are we going to name him? What are we going to name him? But like weeks were passing. We kept calling him Prince. He kept responding to Prince. And pretty soon we were like, well, here we
okay, I
are.
see.
I I wish I could take credit. I can't. I wouldn't feel it wouldn't feel right inside if I took credit for his name. He was just he just had that name and it suits him because he is definitely a prince lounging around, eating and getting pets. So he's great.
That's rad.
Yeah. All right, cool. So, with that being said, what got you into CS? Like, what made you think this is something I will really want to do for the rest of my life?
I honestly think I just fell into CS, honestly, because so I transferred to Kennesaw State from Georgia State, and I had gotten my associate's degree in engineering. So it's not like any specific. It's just like an engineering where you take like a few classes or whatever. Well, I shouldn't downplay it. It was kind of hard.
I'm sure
Yeah.
any engineering anything is difficult. So, you did that.
Originally, I really wanted to be a mechanical engineer because from a young age, I liked building things. I liked knowing how things were constructed. I really enjoyed building like robots and stuff. That was really rad. And but then I don't know. I don't know what made me do this, but I was just like, I kind of want to try out software engineering because it was one of my goals. I wanted to learn how to code. And this was kind of before there were a lot of courses online that taught you how to code and everything, way less than there are now. So yeah, I thought the only way that I would learn is if I majored in it. So when I transferred to Kennesaw State, I majored in software engineering. And then from that, I just sometimes I would major in software engineering and then I'd be like, this is okay, but I want to see what computer science is like. Then I would major in computer science. And then I stuck to computer science because I don't know, there was less classes that I would need to take, but also it was interesting and just learning more and more about computer science. I feel like it suits me because, you're constantly learning in computer science. A one language, like 1 year or one IDE 1 year will become completely obsolete, in the next year. So you would need to learn something completely new. And sometimes that sucks, but a lot of times it's pretty rad. And I really like that you can make something that kind of didn't exist before you had made it and you don't have to pretend you don't have to buy anything to make something. If you want to make a website, you could do that. There are plenty of resources. If you wanted to learn a completely new language, you could do that. And I really like that about computer science. I call it a love-hate relationship because sometimes it's really rad and sometimes just dang, why didn't I major in something easier than this?
It's so funny you say that because I was literally telling somebody that the other day. I was like, I don't know, some days you're just like, man, this is great. This is what I was born to do. And then
Yeah, for sure.
you'll get the worst bug or the worst won't even be a syntax error. It'd be some logistical or logic related issue. Can't figure it out. You've been staring at the screen for 8 hours and you're like, yeah, maybe I wasn't cut out for this. You're like, well, some people are just made for it and it's not me, you're just like, oh, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Seriously, I get it. I think that's really cool. I really relate to the creation part because I think for me, right, I just enjoy creating stuff. So it's so exciting to just be able to create things that people find either really useful or really fun or really cool, right? And being a software engineer allows you to do any of that stuff, whether it's game development, whether it's supply chain software, whether it's medical software, whether it's a to-do list app or productivity apps. Like you said, you can create literally something out of nothing with
Yeah.
programming. And it's just such a great experience. It's such a great feeling.
Yeah. Especially blending art with technology because
Yeah.
I was very creative when I was a kid. I loved drawing to get older and then to be able to actually fuse art with technology is really rad.
No, absolutely. And it's funny because me and you were like right here. Cause like I used to draw all the time when I was like a kid. And I still try to like fit that in because, you know, you want to like still have time for things that like I drew for a very long time, actually. And that's actually what made me want to get into like game development. Cause I was like, it combined my loves of like programming and technology with art. And I was like, yeah, I want to just create games. And I really like creating interactive pieces of, I don't even know how to describe it. I can't even say like art because it's like, I liked adding the logic part to the art. So like, I don't know if you remember like Scratch, right? Like,
Scratch?
yeah, it's like this visual programming thing. It's like online, it's browser based, and you just kind of use it to like, you just apply. It's like very simple programming. People make like games and all kinds of stuff on there. And I remember when my dad showed it to me, I was like, oh my God. Cause like you go on the website, there's so many people who just created art with it, created like games and really cool games too. And not only that, they'd create like dupes or what is it like? They'll just create like really popular games like, I don't know, like what's that, Bloxworks? I don't know if you remember on like Cool Math games. Like they'll create like the Scratch version of that or something. And it was really
Oh,
cool.
cool.
Yeah. So like I relate to that where it's just like, yeah, like art, creation, all these things are just combined and you can have this in this industry. And I think it's so awesome.
Yeah, that's rad. I wish I could like interview you because like seriously, like game development and everything, like I'm so new to that space. So like, and I would love to
Hmm.
know more about it. So that's really rad that you do
Well,
that.
so you've been a part of incredible programs like NASA's Aerospace Scholars and the Google's Future Interns Summit.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about those programs? And then we can kind of dive into the next couple questions.
The NASA Aerospace or the INCAS NASA Community College Aerospace Scholars is actually a really funny story. So I was back at Georgia State and I believe I was taking it was one of my engineering courses. I forget which one, but my professor, I believe her name was Professor Redivari. She probably still works there. But anyway, yeah, I remember she was like talking about how there was this program that you could sign up for. And you know how like professors like before the class starts, they like give announcements and stuff. Like
Hmm.
there's this NASA program that you can sign up for, and it's this. And I was like, at that time, my confidence was like not very high, but I was like, what the frick, I'll give it a shot. I'll see what
Right.
happens. So that's what I did. And I remember working on because you had to submit, I think it was like an introduction or telling about yourself and why you want to be in this program. And you had to get a recommendation letter from your professor. And I remember one of my professors, I forgot his name, but he's freaking awesome. He gave me a recommendation letter and I had written basically like, it would be so nice to be a part of NASA. When I was a kid, I remember watching this PBS Kids show and they all went to NASA. And I was like, man, that would be so rad. It looks so fun. Them in their spacesuits and them doing these missions and stuff. It was like obviously all acted, but I was like, that would seem so rad, and I like
Hmm.
remembered that until that time. And I explained that in like the tell about yourself thing. And yeah, eventually I had no idea they would do this. And I like literally told nobody about this because I
Hmm.
was like, I don't know why, but I told nobody about it. And eventually I got the acceptance and
Oh,
yeah, and I was shocked that that happened. But yeah, so we had to like watch like these short lectures and we had to go to these conference calls kind of about like Mars and different aspects of Mars and that kind of thing generally and like do modules similar to like the I don't know what they call it. Like for Georgia State online courses, they have like the online portal. It was a lot like
right.
that. Yeah. So there were like modules that you needed to get done. But while also doing those modules, and I think there were like quizzes also, you had to write, I believe it was a minimum 10-page essay, I think,
Oh,
on
wow.
like, yeah, on any one of these like prompts that they give you. So like they gave you questions, and there weren't easy questions, I'll tell you that, about like basically how would you get from Earth to Mars, but like they included some really technical stuff in there. And honestly, it was only by the will of Allah that I got through this, because like I was like, no,
Because
it
I was
was
about to say,
really,
oh my God, Earth and
it
Mars?
was
Like,
it was really fun, but like I remember like, and it was enjoyable, but it was also a
mhm,
lot of work. And I remember being in
my
the
God.
library at Georgia State, like at night, just doing research and researching like what the frick they meant, because I had no idea. And just like combing through these research essays, and like knowing when to cite and when not
Mhm.
to, and how to put these things in my own words. I learned a lot from that. But so I submitted the essay, and then eventually I got an email saying like, "Hey, you got accepted, so you can come on site to Virginia." I think,
Oh my
yeah.
God. That's amazing.
And
Mashallah.
yeah, but like I had never traveled out of the country by myself like ever, so that was also nerve-wracking.
Wow.
Yeah. I know I'm going on and on about this.
Listen, I'm here because of that. So, like, don't
Oh,
apologize
okay.
or anything. Like, tell as much as you want. Like, this is really
Okay.
cool to hear because I've never met anybody who'd been through that program. So, like, I mean, honestly, like, it's amazing. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
Like,
Well,
the
thank
fact
you.
that you're able to, first of all, 10-page essay. That's part of the reason why I was That's actually one of the reasons why I was so grateful to be a CS student because I guess in the back of my head, like I knew. And don't get me wrong, I used to love writing, but like 10-page essay, dog, that's just like, that's a lot. So honestly, all respect, mashallah, all of the
Mashallah, thank you.
everything, all the kudos, all the flowers are just thrown at you because like that's so amazing. And how was that experience like on site?
Well, it was like really nerve wracking, because I had never traveled alone to like a
Mhm.
different state before, like ever. And yeah, so that was also nerve wracking. Going there, my communication skills, like I was very introverted. So
Yeah.
like I did not like talking a
Mhm.
lot to other people, or, let alone giving a presentation on stage. So yeah, and we were like paired into teams, and that was interesting. Yeah, and I don't know, I was exposed to a lot. I learned a lot of good things. I learned some things that people do that really aren't great. Yeah, I learned that like I gave a presentation with my teammates in front of a NASA panel, and that was cool, but I would be lying if I said that that presentation was rad. It was okay.
Do you
Yeah,
mind
and
sharing, like, what made it, just okay? Like, what in your head is, like, standards would have classified it as, like, rad, and but what ended up making it so it was just, like, okay to you?
I would say that like the other people, they did an okay job. Some of the presentations were pretty awesome. Some of them are okay, but like I don't know, I'm kind of hard on myself. So what I mean by okay is like I was stuttering. I only said a few words because like I did not like giving presentations, and there were like a ton of people watching. And that's what I mean by yeah, and then after that, well, it was finished. I had to fly back, and honestly, surprisingly, they wanted me to like, I don't know who she was, but like how like colleges have like GSU News, or that kind of
Mhm.
thing. There was a lady, and she wanted to interview me for like my experience, along with like other students that had done the NASA experience also, which I was not expecting. And yeah, that was pretty cool too. None of that has ever like had ever happened to me, so it was
Sounds to
pretty
me you must have
shocking.
did pretty good then, because personally, I don't know if somebody would wanna interview somebody who bombed it, so I think you probably did really well, I wasn't there, but the way you're able to articulate, like, how what you did, how you did it, and I think it's important to look at things at a with a critical lens, right? Like, obviously our egos can't be so big where we're like, oh, I did great, I did perfect. But you're able to like look at that experience and then like take from it and then learn, right? So I think that's the most
Yeah.
important things. But you must have done great if they want to interview you. So
Yeah, I definitely did take that learn from the experience, because like from then on I was like, okay, I'm going to take every opportunity that I can to practice presenting, even if I like suck at it so bad, I'm still going to do it. And that's what I've done. And I'm still not at the point that I want to be, but I've definitely improved from that point. So
Well,
yeah.
that's amazing. And yeah, that's literally great. Cause I remember in undergrad, I knew I kind of sucked at public speaking. And so one of the first things I did was like sign up for public speaking, like 1 and 2, because I was like, I'm going to force myself to speak in public because I have to. This
Hmm.
is a skill, a valuable skill that a lot of people either take for granted or don't really realize how important it is until you're in a position to see how important it is. Like I was. I had like a research project in like high school, and we had like a whole like presentation and everything and blah blah blah. And I think that was the moment where I was like, you know what? I'm not terrible. I just wasn't very good at many aspects of public speaking that I should have probably been good at, like eye contact and, the mishmushing, like enunciation, things like that. And so
Yeah.
I think it's really important to like, especially in our field, right? A lot of people think, oh, I can just sit behind the computer all day, but eventually you're going to have to present something. So
Yeah.
I think it's really cool that you're able to take from that experience and just put yourself out there and everything. So that's really cool. So with that being said, if your STEM journey was a sci fi movie, what's the title and what's like the epic climax of the movie?
Oh, wow. The title. I don't know. Can I copy it from like another movie's title?
Yeah, it can be like a parody of another title or something.
I can only think of Blade Runner. I don't know why.
That's
Um,
fair. That's a good
maybe
one.
I like Pacific Rim, so maybe like Mariah's Rim or M's Rim or something like that. I don't freaking
Yeah,
know. The
it's okay.
Science Rim.
Yeah, we'll we'll workshop. We'll workshop that one. We'll workshop it. But yeah, I think that's so cool how you're able to like put all that effort into getting into that program. And it really shows like your commitment, not just smaller level, but on a deeper level, you were able to apply. And even though like you yourself, you said like, oh, well, you said your confidence wasn't there, but I think it's
Yeah.
important to note, right? And that's actually one of the things I regretted, right? Like because of my quote unquote lack of confidence, I didn't I didn't participate in as many hackathons as I should have. I didn't apply to as many internships I should have. And so I think your story is a testament to just, I think a lot of times we just count ourselves out before we're even counted out. And I think it's really cool that in spite of being afraid, you just decided to do it anyways. So I really wanted to make that point because it's so important. And anybody who's listening needs to know it doesn't matter if you don't think you're qualified, because chances are you probably are. You just are not being kind to yourself, which I think is really cool that you chose to just go for it. So
Yeah.
it shows your commitment, it shows that your bravery. How has your dean or your personal values influenced the way you approach these things or just approaching innovation in general or creativity in what you're doing, the things that you apply to, the work that you do, etc.?
I think like since it has the ability to get really difficult, I think having hope in Allah that everything's gonna be fine, but not just having hope in Allah, but also like making dua, but also putting action behind that. Like I think consistency is really good. Not only just saying like I'm gonna do whatever, not whatever it takes, but like I'm gonna do what I have to get where I want, but also like not being consistent with that by like putting in like small efforts every day rather than like I'm gonna do this for like 3 hours today and then I'm gonna do it for 5 hours tomorrow and like that kind of thing. We're like, hey, I'm just gonna do this for an hour every day and I'm gonna get better and I'm gonna be better by the end of this year, inshallah. Making tahajjud is really good, at least once, like because I know that it can be difficult. And also I don't think it's discussed a lot, but like when you're in college and it's like you're surrounded by a lot of people that and a lot of things that aren't correct in Islam, I think it's like important to like remind yourself of your values and like also not remind yourself, but like have a good support group of friends You know what I mean? Like, have a good circle of friends, because who you hang out with greatly affects like the type of person that, or the things that you do, I think. So, not falling into certain things that are going on at school that don't align with your personal values. And being surrounded by like-minded people that all want the same thing that you want, I think, you
That's
know?
amazing. Yeah. And to the last point you made, it's such an underrated point because the best thing you can do for yourself is, of course, surround yourself around practicing people, people who are on the same path as you, right? Because at the end of the day, right, it's a lot harder. If you want to get to a certain point in your dean, it's just a lot easier when you have people around you who are on those goals too. Like, let's just say, for example, I know quite a few people who are trying to stop listening to music. Man, I'll make it easy for everybody because growing up here, maybe not everybody has been exposed to the whole like, oh, music is, you want to stay away from, right? So, but
Yeah, no,
then,
I'm one of those people actually
yeah,
who needs to try to stop, honestly. That
mail
is
make
my
it easy.
weakness. Yeah,
Yeah, mail
inshallah.
make it easy. Yeah, because it's everywhere, right? And it's like even when you go to like Muslim majority countries, music is there. So it's like really hard. You just be like, oh, that's why I say you just gotta make dua, right? There's no judgment or anything here. At the end of the day, we're all striving towards something, right? So don't worry,
Yeah,
I get you. But to this point, right? If you're around people who are listening to it nonstop 24/7, you in the car with them, you go to, I don't know, an event there, party here, there. After a
mhm,
while, you're just gonna be like, well, this is really difficult. Well, yeah, it's really difficult because everywhere you go, everywhere you're doing, everything you're doing is surrounded or centered around this thing, right? But like if you're surrounding yourself around people with a similar goal or the same goal, maybe instead of being in the car and listening to music, y'all listen to a podcast. Or even let's say you guys are not on the same goal or the same path. But as long as you're around somebody who respects that, they'll put on the podcast when you're in the car with them or you're hanging out with them because they respect you. They're your friend.
yeah,
So I think, and that's just one example. There's so many different examples we can get into, but I really like that point. I think it's super important, especially for those of us who are going to school college is different, right? Like we grow up basically around the same people in elementary school. If you don't move around a lot, these people. You've
yeah,
known a certain group of people for about like 12 years. Then
yeah,
you're in like the adult world where there's new people, new adults, new things, new events, new all these things. If you don't have a support system, you're not grounded. It's really easy to get lost.
yeah.
I think that's a super important point that you brought up. So thank you for that. What's one myth about women in STEM you wish would disappear forever, and one stereotype you secretly embrace?
I don't know about women in STEM, but I know, like, for a myth that is in STEM that I know that they're trying to push a lot to people is like, oh, it's so easy. You can just take this one course and you'll know so many, or like, just go, especially with college, all you have to do is just go to college and major in computer science and you'll be set. And I see that a lot with like new people who like go to college, like people who are just their first or second year, like they're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And like
Exactly.
we were like that too. Like, like oh my gosh, I programmed my first hello world and everything, which is rad, but it's like I don't know, sometimes I feel like they're like pushing it a lot where they're saying it's so easy after college you'll be set, and it's just like no, that's not it. It's a lot of work to be done. But like I just think that like that's maybe a myth that it's like so easy and all you need is like one course to know to rule them all.
No,
I don't know
yeah.
if you get that reference, Lord of the Rings, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I used to watch like this series with my mom, like growing up. She really loves like fantasy, like, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter,
Oh,
these types
dude, Harry Potter. Harry Potter is so rad.
of But yeah, to your point, I think that whole like, and you see it a lot, not even just in CS, but like even with like things like digital marketing. They're like, you buy this one course, you're gonna make so much money, like you're gonna be a millionaire.
Yeah.
All you have to do
Yeah.
is be a software engineer, and you're gonna be making $300,000 when you graduate from college, which that's cool for like 1.2% of people. But
Yeah.
like
Fact.
most people are just not gonna do that, and that's okay. I think the problem is like people are just like selling this dream, this exorbitant extra like millionaire, this money, this you're gonna never worry about anything ever. And then it's so easy. Like you said, all you have to do is code hello world. I hate to break it to you, pal, but like there's just so much like there's so much depth. Even as somebody, and I realize like I've been a software engineer for over 2 years. And even now, I'm still kind of like, you would think like, yes, I'm kind of comfortable. However, there's just so much depth to what
Mm-hmm.
you can possibly learn. Like, forget about
Yeah.
learning like 5 programming languages. Okay, that's cool. But like knowing the not just the syntax of what you're programming in, but knowing how the best way to efficiently solve certain problems. And the thing is, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of this stuff is just like pattern matching. You just have to expose yourself to it a lot and a lot and a lot of times. And
Mm-hmm.
then you kind of familiarize yourself with, okay, how can I solve this the most efficient way? Oh, wait, I remember seeing this previously in another thing. That's all it
Yeah.
really is. But you can't have that without like the time, the effort, the energy. You got to grind a little bit, right? So,
Yeah.
with that being
Yeah.
said, a lot of people don't realize that. They're just like, you learn this one magic programming language, you're going to get a job. No, it's so much more than that. Because even if you get the job, right, you still got to actually do your job and you still got to problem solve. You still got to figure things out. And it's not easy. Like there's some days, like I
Yeah.
said, like you're going to be like, well, maybe I just wasn't cut out for this. And then you're finally going to figure it out and you're going to be like, maybe I am cut out for this. So, yeah.
Facts. Yeah.
So,
I just
yeah.
wish people would be more honest about like computer science and software engineering roles. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying like
Mhm.
don't like sell smoke to like people who don't have any idea about computer
I agree.
science and software engineering, like be honest with them, be like, "Hey, it's going to get hard," or "Hey, you're be like if you don't enjoy problem solving or if you don't enjoy learning new things like consistently, then
Right.
maybe this isn't the thing for you," because I see so many people who are like first year, second, or like in high school,
Hmm.
and they only want to do computer science or software engineering because they see like all of the commercials or all of the courses, like the courses on the commercials, or like people tell them like, if you want to make so much money, then you can, when you graduate, then this is the way to go. It's just
Yeah.
like, no, like you actually have to enjoy doing this.
Exactly. Like it's not
Yeah.
meant to be, even the people who enjoy it. Like I tell people, like I enjoy what I do, but that doesn't mean that it's just hard as rocks sometimes. Honestly, like it's a lot. And so I can't imagine like not actually enjoying it and still showing up. It's a lot, dude. And like you said, the commercials of this and now with social media, right? You see
Yeah,
all
that
these like
too.
TikToks about like what do I do? What I do as a software engineer in Facebook, make $400,000 a year, yada yada. They show up to work. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm at work today, and I went to the food court, and then
I
I
was
played."
literally gonna say
Like,
that, dude.
it's like, and it doesn't show them doing like any actual work. And then so people, whether they subconsciously or consciously believe it, they're like, "Oh wow, like this stuff is just so cool and so fresh, and my life could be so easy if I work in tech."
Yeah. And it's
I
just
hate to
like,
break it to you, bro. That's not
yeah.
how it works.
Another thing like Instagram, TikTok, like because and YouTube actually, like
Yes,
some
yeah, the
some of the
vlog.
things that you see, yeah, the vlogging, the my day in the life as a software engineer and stuff, like you gotta like some of those you like have to seriously like watch out for because some of
Mhm.
them will show like them doing like two different or like three different YouTubers doing the exact same thing or like they're going into work and then they somehow have time to like exercise at 5 a.m. And that's like not realistic, but like, and then going into work and like, oh, I'm getting free food, and then sitting down to code, but like not showing anything of what they're coding, but sitting down and coding for like 20 seconds. I mean, I get that it's like a video or like 30 minutes
Yeah.
and being like, time for lunch. I'm like,
Right.
you have to realize that like this is content and like they need at the end of the day, they have to like sell content in order to make
Mhm.
money. And I just wish that like, yeah,
Yeah,
people would.
yeah, so you have to do mindful consumption, right? Because they're showing you like the 20-minute max days, but they're not showing you the days where you're staying up till like 1 a.m. because you're trying to finish a story before the sprint ends and you really don't want to carry over again, or else your boss is really going to be very disappointed in you and you really don't want that. So, like, you're looking at the clock, you got your coffee next to you, it's 2 a.m. You're still not realizing that you actually just missed a dependency, like to inject a dependency in a test class. And that's why your test is failing. It's not even actually the test you wrote. It's just a setup. But you don't know that because you're like sleep deprived and
Yeah,
your eyes
I
are
was like, you're
burning.
coding at 2 a.m., dude.
Like,
Like,
but nobody shows that. They just show like, or there are some people who do, but
yeah,
most
there
people, they're
are.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, oh wow, like free food, free lunch. And then you also don't realize the work it takes to get in there, because yes, free food, free lunch,
Yeah,
but you
that's
know how many like
true.
leak code rounds and studying, sleepless nights, six
Cracking the
to
coding
10
interview.
books.
Yeah.
Yep. Reading all those algorithm books. Yep. Cracking the coding interview. Gail McDowell classic. It's a lot, dude. But like you said, people are just selling a dream. But yeah, I think it's a very good point. It's easy to forget, like when you're seeing other people do it, and then also it makes you feel bad because you're like, they're making it look so easy. Why am I struggling so much? But the truth is, like, everybody is struggling at it.
Hmm.
Some people are just, you don't people don't show you. That people like to show the highlight reel. Nobody likes to
Yeah.
admit that they're sucking or failing. That's why it's so
Yeah.
important to be transparent and to like, let people know like, hey, like this was actually a bad day. And I'm not showing this because I want you to feel bad for me. I'm showing
This
you
is
this
just how it
because
is.
exactly. I think it's important
Yeah.
for sure.
But like, I'm not saying that it's like a bad thing where like, I mean, every
Hmm.
job has like the bad days. But I'm just saying, like, don't get into this thing for the money or like because people are pressuring you into doing it. Get
Absolutely.
into it because you actually like enjoy problem solving and you actually enjoy learning new things. Because if you
Exactly.
actually do, then you won't, you won't, well, you'll struggle, but I don't know how to describe it. You'll enjoy it,
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know.
absolutely. No,
But like,
yeah, absolutely. I get
yeah,
it. It's like I would never be a doctor. That whole like
same.
4 years of medical school and suffering and
Memorizing.
studying and memorizing. I was not cut out for that, man. So I knew I was not going to be a doctor. And that's why I have so much respect for people who choose to do that stuff. Seriously. Like, I'm not even good at biology or none of that stuff, man. I'm just being honest. I like,
Same.
I knew I was meant to be it was computer science or nothing. That's the only science. Was good. Everything else, like, it was just tough. So, but with that being said, right? Yeah, being a doctor makes a lot of money and a lot of prestige, and a lot of people respect you because you're literally a doctor, like you save people's lives. But I know deep down inside, that's not what I have passion for, and that's not what I want to do. And I think the same thing should apply here. I mean, yeah, it's easy to say, like, oh, yeah, it's just a job, but most people are going to be doing this thing for like 8 hours a day for like 20, 30, 40 years or whatever. You might as well
Yeah.
enjoy it. You might as well enjoy
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah. I totally agree.
But yeah, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really super enjoyed this. I think you're an awesome interviewee. This was great. If you ever want to do
Rad.
another interview, let me know because I really enjoyed. I had more questions to ask, but because of time, and you had such good answers, this is good. So like you did
Okay.
amazing. Thank you so much. I
It's
just
no
have
problem.
one last question for you. So I want you to think about what's your favorite ayah in the Quran and how does it inspire or influence your approach to your career, your school, your life, etc.?
My favorite ayat is in Surah Yusuf. It's ayah 101. And should I keep read it? Because I have it on the other tab, like in the English
Oh, start.
translation, or
You
oh,
can
okay.
recite
So
it, read it, do whatever.
okay, so like it says, "My Lord, you have surely granted me authority and taught me the interpretation of dreams." And this is Prophet Yusuf saying this, by the way. "O originator of the heavens and the earth, you are my guardian in this world and the hereafter. Allow me to die as one who submits and join me with the righteous." And that has always like stayed with me because, like, I don't know, like to me, Prophet Yusuf was one of the people who like had a lot of things like, but he still wanted to like, he still was able to like have a lot of wealth, but also like still not allow that to consume him. And he still wanted to, knew that he was going to die and he wanted to die with the righteous. And, I make that dua a lot because I also want that, but, it just always stuck with me.
That's amazing, honestly, mashallah, because a lot of people don't. Let me say why. When, we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for like wealth and success and all these things, right? But a lot of people don't think about making the dua like, okay, allow me to handle that success, allow me to handle that wealth, allow me to make the right decisions in a way that pleases you, Allah, when I receive those things, or if you want to give me those things. So I think it just shows, because like Yusuf alayhi salam, in spite, like you said, he had everything at a point, I mean, at first from his beauty to eventually becoming, very successful, he was still humble. He was still
Yeah.
somebody who did not allow these things to become bigger than his love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I think that's so cool that you say that, because it's so important. And the thing is, when you're grateful and when you're humble, Allah will increase you. So I think that's such a beautiful reminder. And thank you so much for choosing that ayah.
Well, no problem.
Thank you so much. Honestly, dude, it was great. This was amazing. If you have any like socials or anything you want to share, like where can people find you or support you?
So there's my LinkedIn. If you just type in my name, Mariyaah Muttalib. I don't know if they'll be able to see it or the spelling of it or anything, but
It's
yeah.
okay. I'll put the link in the notes.
All right. Okay, cool. So yeah, Mariyaah Muttalib, LinkedIn. I have an Instagram. It's kind of sad to see because I never post on it, but it's m dot, just a regular dot, Muttalib, my last name, 7, and it's all lowercase. And yeah, those are the places. And hopefully, inshallah, on my own website, because that's my next coding project, making my own website. I know like you made your own website. I don't know if you coded it yourself, but if you did, then I mean, if you did or if you didn't, it doesn't really matter. But like if you did, that's like really rad. And
Oh,
yeah,
thank you, man. It was a bit of a headache, but thank you. It was, yeah, I appreciate that, because I just wanted to have something that was like cool and cute and whatnot. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks, man. So I think that marks the end of our episode. I will catch you guys and next episode, inshallah. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Muslims in Motion. We hope you enjoyed it and found it valuable. If you did, please consider subscribing on your favorite podcast platform and leaving us a review. It really helps others find the show. Don't forget to visit our website at hmsdev.co/MIM for more content, updates, and resources. You can also follow us on Instagram to stay connected. If you would like a direct line to the pod, perhaps leave a comment or share some career advice, feel free to leave us some fan mail and join the conversation. We may share your note in the next episodes. Just check out the description for the link. And please, don't forget our brothers and sisters in Gaza, the Congo, and Sudan. If you would like to donate, the links will be in the description below.
Join us week after next for another exciting episode. Until then, take care and salam.